Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I thought I'd jump on a little early since I was just sitting here talking in the chat. I was like, hey, let me jump on and talk to everyone. Uh, Very sad news out of North Carolina. You know, some people accuse me of hating police or whatever. I don't hate police. What I don't like is people that don't do their jobs correctly, and they often deserve criticism. There's a difference between hating police and giving, proper criticism where it's due. And we always say on this channel, praise where you can when people do a good job and criticize when they don't. But on a day like today, I think we can all um, relate to that feeling of, a US Marshal and two North Carolina correction officers not going home. They're not going to make it home from work, right? Their families are never going to see them again, and they were just trying to do their job. And I think we can all relate to that and understand how sad that is. No one should have to die at work. And, people should be able to go out, do whatever job they do, and make it home at night. And this is very sad that they did not. It's awful, really is. And I hate seeing it. I don't want to see that. This type of stuff doesn't bring around uh, change at all. It doesn't improve things. All it does is it makes tensions between the public and police worse, and it's not what we need. But I'm hoping the community of North Carolina and afar will rally around these departments and show them that the community does care, especially when something like this happens. I'm going to play this little video for you if you haven't seen it. I'm sure you have by now, but we'll play it for you anyway.
That's right. Yeah, we are just a few feet actually from that press conference that is still happening. But I'll tell you, we've only been here for a few minutes, and it feels heavy. You can see the emotion from everybody here, all of those different law enforcement agencies involved, as well as the mayor speaking just moments ago. Definitely emotional, a very emotional environment. And so here's what we've learned just moments ago from this press conference: is we do know that this all happened around 1:30. A U.S. Marshals task force was trying to serve a warrant for a convicted felon who was in possession of a firearm, trying to serve that warrant. And when that happened, as soon as they got on the scene, they started receiving some gunfire. So they do know that one person was in front of the residence and was shooting. That person was shot and was found dead. And then there was additional gunfire after that from inside of the home here in East Charlotte. To give you an idea, we're about a mile away from that home. And part of the reason why is because there was still active gunfire for quite some time. So they wanted to make sure that media and anyone who was trying to get information about this incident was far away from it at the time. It was cleared just about an hour ago. And we do know, as you heard earlier today, 8 of those law enforcement officers were shot. We know that 3 of them from the U.S. Marshals Task Force were shot and killed. We know that 4 Charlotte-Mecklenburg police officers were shot. One of them is in critical condition. They shut down some roads around this area actually around that time so that they could get ambulances to the hospital more quickly. A lot of those roads have reopened at this point, but that gives you an idea of how serious this was when it was going on. Still waiting to learn more about the specific details there. We do know 2 additional people who were inside that home. They were taken into custody for questioning. Still waiting to learn more about their connection to this. We do know that the police department does believe that there were 2 shooters involved in this scene, and we know 1 person was found dead. So again, still working to get some more information there. We did hear from the Charlotte-Mecklenburg police chief to give us some of this information, Chief Johnny Jennings, and here's a little bit of what we heard from him today.
Tragically, there were 3 members of the U.S. Marshals Task Force who were pronounced deceased, and there were 4 CMPD officers who were shot, one being in critical condition, who is now in the hospital fighting for his life.
And so just to clarify, there are a total of 8 law enforcement officers shot, 4 of them from the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, 4 of them from the U.S. Marshals Task Force. That task force is made up of multiple agencies, so it's unclear right now which direct agencies those 4 officers were involved with. One of them recovering at this point. 3 of them did not survive this incident. We are still waiting to learn so much more about this, and I'm sure we will in the coming hours and days. But that's where we leave this now. And again, just such an emotional environment here in East Charlotte right now.
I think that captures it well. An emotional environment after those shootings. I mean, to have 8 people total injured, of 3 of them die, other ones in critical condition in hospital, all over serving a warrant. A warrant, that's all. It's just a piece of paper telling you to go to court. It could have been an arrest warrant too, but it doesn't matter, right? You don't have to kill other people. There's always a solution, right? Go to court, get bail again. It depends what your charge is, but there's always a different way out than a firefight. And what an awful, I'm sure they were not expecting that when they rocked up. I know they said it was because the felon believed to have had illegal firearms. The U.S. Marshals Task Force went to serve a warrant, and they were met with a barrage of gunfire, which they returned. The man shooting at officers was killed in the front yard of a home in Eastern Charlotte neighborhood, but as officers approached him, more shots were fired in their direction from inside a nearby home. When the shootout ended, a standoff began and lasted for several hours. That included armored vehicles crashing into the suburban home in tree-lined neighborhood and tearing off doorways and windows. Yeah, they must have done that thing where they have the machine and it smashes in the windows and then it tears it down to make an opening so they can throw in some flashbangs or gas grenades or whatever. About 5 p.m., hours after the first response, the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department announced that the scene was clear and the people inside the home, a woman and a 17-year-old boy, were detained for questioning. They said, "Today we lost some heroes who were simply out trying to keep our community safe." During a 6 p.m. news conference, police said 3 U.S. Marshals had been killed and a 4th injured. Later, the U.S. Marshal Service confirmed that one of its officers had been killed. North Carolina Gov. Roy Cooper clarified that the other 2 killed were officers with the State Department of Adult Corrections who were working with the task force at the time. Here's his Twitter message. Our hearts are with the families and co-workers of the officers in today's brutal attack, including 2 State Department of Adult Correction officers working with the U.S. Marshals Task Force who were shot and killed. I mean, so apparently right now 4 Charlotte officers had been shot and they're injured. 1 remains in critical condition in hospital at this time. Jennings confirmed that the suspect was killed in the shootout and was the subject of the warrant they were trying to execute. They said a lot of questions that need to be answered. We don't even know what those questions are right now. We have to get a full understanding of why this occurred and also uphold the integrity of the investigation. Cooper posted on social media that he had offered state resources to assist law enforcement in any way they may need. Then there's another message from him saying, "I'm in contact with law enforcement concerning the tragic shooting in the Charlotte area, and we have offered state resources to help." Cooper later arrived in Charlotte, the state's largest city, to meet with officials and the families of the victim. The mayor took to social media to offer her condolences for the shooting, saying, "I am deeply saddened by the shooting that occurred that involved Charlotte-Mecklenburg police officers and U.S. Marshals today. I ask that all charlatans charlatans? Okay. Keep them and the other injured officers and their families in your thoughts and prayers during this incredibly difficult time." Apparently, the president, Joe Biden, was briefed on the shooting and spoke to Cooper to express his condolences and support for the community, according to the White House. In a statement, the White House said the president was briefed on the shooting in North Carolina, in which multiple law enforcement officers were killed. He spoke to the Governor Cooper and expressed his condolences and support for the community. In addition, senior White House officials are in touch with federal, state, and local officials to organize more help. The last marshal shot and killed in the line of duty was in November 2018. Chase White was shot in Tucson, Arizona by a man wanted for stalking local law enforcement officers. That sounds like a creepy case too. I'm sure we're going to learn more about this as it goes along, and more about the suspect who was shot and killed in this gunfight. But yeah, quite sad. Okay. Sorry, I will say hello to everyone now. We got off on a quick start. Let me go back. I'll say hello to DJ Kathy Lynch, The Thoris. I'll see you later, Kathy. The Thoris, Danny Mitchell. DJ was here. James Avery. James Avery, please report to the principal's office. Please report to the principal's office. James Avery. Laurie, how are you? Who else do we have? Amy 007 was here. Peekaboo Cockatiel, hey, how are you? Marilyn Landis. Marilyn Landis sounds like a swear word, doesn't it? Marilyn Landis. And everyone's like, oh, Ping swearing again. Keep saying Marilyn Landis. Potter, how are you, my friend? Good to see you. Lindy. Hey, Lindy. Let's see who else. Have I missed anyone? I hope not. Yep, another Maria's here. Marlene Clausen, good to have you. Mamma Mia. Penguin's here. Hey, Penguin. Bark, 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 bark. Got to speak Penguin to Penguin. Robin Lane, how are you, my sweet friend? I really hope you're okay. I haven't seen you for a little while. I hope you're just having a break from true crime or whatever and you're okay. Hope you're doing okay. I really am. I've been looking for you in the chat each night, hoping to see you. But all right. Let's keep going. We got more informations. More informations. We actually have an update for. Remember, I told you about that torso murder in Salford in the UK. Well, the two people who were responsible for it, a man named Mikhail and a man named Marcin. The first one's age 68. The second one, Marcin, and age 42, have been charged in connection with the human remains found in the Kersal Dale area. And I'm going to show you this. Apparently, they were in court today for the charge of murder. Now, the judge, it was very quick. The judge was basically like, "You've been charged with murder. That's against the law. We're going to send you to the higher Crown Court." So they're actually going to be back in court tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. at the higher court. And apparently, the court they went to basically is only there for a brief appearance to keep them on remand. They're not going to deal with it because it's just it's a case out of their jurisdiction. Basically, they don't deal with murder. So they're saying here, you are both before this court. There is an allegation of murder. This allegation is that between March 25th, 2024 and April 2nd, 2024, you murdered a person unknown. This is contrary to common law. Yeah, contrary to common law. Prosecuting Mr. Gareth Hughes told magistrate that Mr. Pulowski and I can't pronounce the second one, but the other one, I think it's Marcin, must go to court in the Crown Court. He added that both will remain in custody until such time. Yeah, they'll remain in custody. Addressing the defendants, the chair of the bench, Mr. Trevor Hume, said, "You will both remain in custody and be produced." Yes, we're going to produce you at Crown Court tomorrow at 9:30 in the morning. So they're going to go to Manchester Crown Court on April 30 tomorrow, and they're going to stay in custody. This is actually the property right here. This is where they lived with the victim, apparently. They still don't know the circumstances about what their living arrangements were or what their relation to each other is. But all three men lived here, and they believe he was murdered on this property. And the police have been here searching it for a number of days now. And yeah, they've discovered more human remains. Their bags of human have been located all over the place. I can actually show you. They have a map, if I can find it. There's a map that shows you all the different locations, which I will grab. I think it's like Merkowitz. I'll have to look it up. Is the last name of the other guy. All right, 14 hours. Yep. All right. So this gives you an idea. Originally, the they found the first lot of human remains over here. Members of the public finds lower back and buttocks and thigh wrapped in cellophane and dumped at Kersal Dale. That's where the number 4 is. Number 3, Monday, the 29th of April, like many weeks later, like 3 weeks later, human remains found close of railway lines off Wolseley Road. So they found more human remains here. Then on, oh wait, so it must jump. Wait, that one, 27th, 28th, 29th. Okay, I don't know why it goes like that, but okay, fine. So actually it goes from the 4th to the 1st. Whoever wrote this map did a crap job. On Saturday the 27th, a dog walker finds human remains in a package at Linishaw Colliery Wood. And then on the next day, on the Sunday, body parts found by divers in Blackleach Reservoir. And then on that Monday, so it goes Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 27th, 28th, 29th. On the 29th, on the Monday, human remains found close of railway lines off Wolseley Road in Eccles. So they found all of this poor guy scattered around the greater Manchester area. And they do actually know his name now. His next of kin have been advised, but his name has not been released to the public at this time. But I don't know if they found all of him, just that they keep finding packages of human remains around Manchester, just randomly. A dog walker found a package of human just while taking a dog for a walk on Saturday morning. And the police raced there and shut it down and got it under control. There you go. If you guys can't see, there's a better sort of view for you. So you can see. I don't know why. I think they screwed up this numbering system. I don't know why you'd go 1 and then 2, then 3, and then 4 is back on April the 4th. I think this should be 1 and then 2, 2, 3, 4. Whoever does this map needs a new job. Hey, it's the Daily Mail. Can't expect them to do everything perfect. You know, they're only a multi-million-dollar company. Can't expect perfection. All right, let me see what you guys have to say in chat. Marilyn Landis, how are you, Marilyn? What'd she say? Let me see. A line in front of my name. I can have a look, Marilyn. Moonlight View would not be able to access the part that you need to look at. But once the show finishes here tonight, I will check before Trish goes live for you, okay? I'll see what I can do. All right. Let's see. Yeah, the chat was mental the other night. All right. Let me see if I can get you the press conference from today for these two, Marcin and his buddy, 68-year-old man, Mr. Mikhail Jaroslaw Polchalski, and Marcin Majurkowitz. It's in his name. Look, it says jerk. Look, you kill people, and your name is Jerk. Marcin Jerk. There you go. That's how we're going to say it. Marcin Jerk and Mikhail Pol. There you go. Mr. Chow. Mr. Chow and Mr. Jerk. There you go. Mr. Chow and Mr. Jerk, you have been charged in connection with murder. All right, Chow and Jerk. Let's find your press conference. You know, sometimes the jokes just write themselves. All right. It must be this one. Hold on. Right, yes, here.
With murder after body parts were found in Salford. Mikhail Yaroslav Polkovsky, 68, and Martin Majerkovits, 42, both of Wesley Road, Eccles, have been charged with murder. They are due to appear at Tameside Magistrates Court on Monday afternoon. More human remains were found on Monday morning as the police investigation continued. The probe was launched on April 4th after body parts were found at Kersal Dale in Salford. Police undertook a 12-day search of the area following the discovery. Further remains were then uncovered at Blackleach Reservoir and Colliery Wood over this weekend. 4 separate police cordons were in place in Walkden, Worsley, Winton, and Bury from Saturday. Police have also confirmed that more remains were found in an alleyway close to railway lines off Worsley Road on Monday. Detectives believe the victim is a man from Salford in his 60s. Assistant Chief Constable Sarah Jackson said, "We have had large numbers of officers, staff, and specialists working diligently on this investigation over the last 3 weeks. It has been very much a large collective effort, with the victim and family at the heart of it from the outset. Despite the charges brought today, our work is far from over. The scenes we already have established in Bury and Salford will remain in place for much of the week, whilst our searches and inquiries continue."
That was from the Manchester Evening News. I wish I knew who the man was who was narrating. What a great voice, but I don't have his name, unfortunately. Maybe if we go to the article, I don't know if this is the same person. Ashley Blakey. It might be a male. There's some males named Ashley. No, that's a lady. It's a lady. I just looked her up. It's a lady. It is not the man who was speaking on the article that we just saw. Okay. Let me grab some more information about it. Nicole would not be the man either. All right. So apparently, I found this interesting too. Both of them, Mikhail and Marcin, were both charged with murder, but they're having to speak through Polish interpreters. And I wonder if the man they murdered is also Polish. Is it a relative? Did they come over? Because in Europe you can travel pretty freely between places, including England for the most part. I wonder, were they there illegally, or I know there's people that come and overstay their welcome or are not documented. They said, "You are both before this court. There is an allegation of murder." Yeah, we read that before. Prosecuting. Okay, so yeah, we just have to wait till tomorrow. We'll see them at the Manchester Crown Court on April 30, and we'll find out more. Maybe we'll find out who the poor victim is and what relation they are to these two men. It's very interesting. So the man who died is aged in his 60s as well. One of the men arrested is in his 60s, and then the other man is in his 40s. So I don't know. We'll find out. They've kept it very close to their chest through the entire investigation, but we'll find out more tomorrow, I'm guessing. Juicy Jules says, "I'm in a hotel watching Moonstruck Nicolas Cage. Not a bad love story. Hey, come and watch this channel." Why is there an old TV there? I know, right? What's going on? What kind of hotel are you in, Juicy Jules? Hold on, guys. All right. We've got so much to get through. We're definitely going to have a late show tonight. We've got like 50 stories. I know the story everyone wants to talk about is probably Suzanne Morphew. So give me a second. Sorry, you guys don't want to hear me cough. All right. You guys want to talk about Suzanne Morphew for a minute? We can do that. Let me grab this. No, it's not what I want. Let me grab this thing. Bloody scribed. All right. I wish I could do this in dark mode, but it's not going to let me. So if you're in a really dark room and bright lights are going to hurt you, just know I'm going to put a document on the screen for a couple of seconds, okay? And I'm sorry. I try to make everything as dark as I can. All right, there we go. So El Paso County Coroner, we've seen this, Suzanne Morphew, name Suzanne Morphew, date of birth 30th of the 4th, 1971. The date of pronouncement, 22nd of the 9th, 2023 at 3 p.m. Final diagnosis, homicide by unspecified means in the setting of butorphanol, butorphanol, there we go, azapirone, and metatamide. I don't even know what these are. We're going to look up these chemicals in a second. It says a reported history of recovery of a partial skeleton, medical port, and clothing scattered in and around a shallow grave. That's horrible to think about. Positive dental identification at time of autopsy examination. Reported history, decedent was reported missing in Chaffee County in the 10th of the 5th, 2020, and her bicycle and helmet were discovered without significant damage in separate locations within the county. The bloody bicycle. No indication of perimortem trauma. See forensic anthropology report. And then it says postmortem toxicology of the femoral bone identified these chemicals. So let's have a look. I want to grab these and I want to show you what these are. If they're going to give it to me in something I can copy and paste. So yeah, they're saying here, the report also stated that Morphew was undergoing chemotherapy while in remission for recurrent follicular lymphoma. However, the medical examiner that the drugs found in her system are marketed as a compounded injectable chemical immobilizer for wildlife, providing pharmacological, reversible anesthesia, sedation, and immobilization. So basically, it's a tranquilizer dart or like a tranquilizer, chemical for animals. That's basically what it is. But I actually want to look up what these come in and what they do. Let me search this. Budiphenol. Let's have a look. Cops are going to like, if cops ever raid my house, they are going to think I'm some sort of serial killer. I'll have to explain to them, no, I'm not. I have a channel. I have a live stream. Yeah, show us. Always, we're going to arrest you for 20 unsolved murders in Melbourne. All right. What's the other one? Azapirone. This is the interesting one. Azapirone says it is mainly used as a tranquilizer in veterinary medicine. It is uncommonly used in humans as an antipsychotic drug. Yes, I often like to steal my animals' medicine and make myself antipsychotic. Says here, azapirone acts primarily as a dopamine antagonist, but also has some antihistamine and antichlorogenic properties as seen with similar drugs as haloperidol, and azapirone may cause hypotension, and while it has minimal effects on respiratory in pigs, high doses in humans can cause respiratory depression. So basically you stop breathing. A lot of drugs cause that though. GHB, downers, a lot of different things cause respiratory depression, any kind of any kind of downer can give you that. So it's the most common use for this drug in relatively small doses are serenic to reduce aggression in farm pigs, either to stop them fighting or to encourage sows to accept piglets. Higher doses are used for anesthesia in combination with other drugs such as xylazine, titamine, and zolazepam. I can't pronounce any of these, sorry. Aspirin is also used in combination with strong narcotics for tranquilizing large animals such as elephants. Use in horses is avoided as adverse reactions may occur. Like what? Like what? I want to know what kind of adverse reactions happen in horses that don't happen in other animals. Do they shrink or something? It says here the European Medicines Agency has established a maximum residue limit for the drug when administered to pigs. It's sold under the brand name Stresnol, was approved for use in pigs in... do they use it in tranquilizer darts? So let's have a look. Tranquilizer dart. Or is it used as a mixture? Here. Let's have a look. So the autopsy report into Suzanne Morphew showed that experts believe she was killed by unspecified means, but that tranquilizer chemicals typically used on animals were found in her body. Yeah, like they use them in pigs to make them less aggressive and to make piglets accept the mother accept piglets. That's interesting. It says Susan was killed by unspecified means in the setting of the drugs we named. What is this one? Metatendendine. I'm not pronouncing that right, but we'll look it up. A synthetic compound used as a surgical anesthetic and analgesic. It is normally found as a hydrochloride salt. What do they use it for? Just anesthesia and analgesia. Okay. So it's a sedative used for cats and dogs a lot of the time. Interesting. So it's like she had like a bunch of different stuff. Something that's used for surgery as well on animals, and as well as the other one used on a variety of animals, just not horses apparently. I don't know what the side effects are. It didn't tell me, but it says there are side effects to it. They don't use it in horses. It's odd, right? These drugs, I don't. They found like an empty tranquilizer dart cap thing. They found the dart and yeah, they found the cap in the washing machine and the dart somewhere else, and it was empty. Let's have a look. What's this other one? The drugs are marketed as a compounded injectable chemical immobilizer for wildlife, providing pharmacological, reversible analgesia, sedation, and immobilization. So it's just a tranquilizer dart. There you go. Morphew 52 was last seen alive on Mother's Day 2020. Her remains were located last fall near Moffat. The release of the autopsy findings are all but certain to renew law enforcement interest in Morphew's husband, Barry. Barry, why don't you listen to me, Barry? Who was previously charged in her murder before the case was dropped. I was speaking about this with someone earlier, and you would have to think that police department who was investigating, they must get it right this time. If they are going to bring charges against Barry again, they cannot screw up. That case has to be watertight, and they have to have everything correct. Otherwise, this could all fall apart again, and they would look very, very silly, especially after all this kind of details come out. What, 2 years after they dropped the murder charges from last time? And they found her body. So Morphew's legal history: he was arrested for murder in 2020. Law enforcement recovered a dart gun, empty darts, and a needle to inject tranquilizer chemicals into darts in his gun safe. There you go. Where did the tranquilizer chemicals come from? Well, you can put two and two together and say maybe it came from the stuff in the safe. But during cross-examination in Morphew's 2021 preliminary hearing, authorities admitted they did not find tranquilizer chemicals in the home. Oh, that's probably because I'd probably move him too if I, tranquilized my wife, allegedly, maybe. If I wrote a book saying how I killed her. It says Barry Morphew previously said he used tranquilizer darts when hunting to collect antlers without killing deer. How much tranquilizer would you need for a deer? They're pretty big animals, right? Morphew was charged with murder and the death of his wife for 25 years. However, a judge dismissed the charges in 2023 at the request of prosecutors following accusations they failed to turn over potentially exculpatory evidence. The body of Suzanne Morphew had not been located at that point. The charges were dismissed without prejudice, meaning they could be potentially refiled. Barry Morphew has maintained his innocence. He has done that, along with a bunch of other things. All right, let's have a look at this. Is there a brand that you can buy that you could just get like locally? I bet you someone who has a hunting background would know. Let's have a look. There is a paper on it though, like a journal paper right here. There's a paper on it actually on these chemicals, all three of them, for the immobilization of rhesus marquis for monkeys. So apparently they use them for monkeys. Apparently they use the three chemicals. So maximizing animal well-being by minimizing drug-related side effects is a key consideration when choosing pharmaceutical agents for chemical restraint in non-human primates. One drug combination that may promote this ideology is budesonide, azapirone, and metoclopramide. I'm probably pronouncing that one a bit off. Based on results from a pilot study, 2 doses of BAM, which is all three of those together, were compared to healthy 3-year-old rhesus marquis. Psychological parameters and anesthetic qualities were assessed and recorded every 5 minutes. Experimental endpoints were established for hypo. Why do we do this to me? They're just saying that they followed all their critical signs during dosage. If any endpoint was achieved, it's reversed by using. So it can be reversed using another drug. So when you administer this, it knocks them out, or makes them sleepy, or drowsy. But you can actually reverse it. BAM doses resulted in immobilization of all animals with no clinically significant differences between groups. All animals initially exhibited hypoxemia that it resolved with oxygen supplementation. So you have to give them oxygen to keep them alive. Regardless of dose, most marquis 71% reached established experimental endpoints for. Okay, good results. That's right. Okay, so they're saying that it doesn't matter like what kind of animal it was. They actually had some pretty, they needed assistance while under on this particular drug. So I don't know what that means if you gave it to a human in a high enough dose and then didn't medically support them. Like, sounds like here that you need to give some sort of oxygen supplementation to the patient at the time, and that they can get hypothermia and they can actually experience a bunch of other bad side effects too, unless they're monitored and kept up with their, their heart rate and things like that. Bradycardia as well, or hypotension. So there's a whole bunch of side effects, but it knocked them all out, and they needed supplemental oxygen during the procedure. So, but it did say they had minimum side effects once brought out of it, and that they were okay. They said efforts should be made to reduce animal distress and discomfort during scientific procedures. Investigating the use of novel drugs and drug combinations that have the potential to improve animal well-being provides an avenue to discover prospective refinements. So, okay, I'm not going to keep reading this. I just wanted to know what it did to animals if you gave them all three drugs. And apparently it knocks them out. So that's what we know. But it does say here that you need to know what you're doing. And that a lot of animals needed oxygen supplementation and monitoring of their heart rate so they didn't get bradycardia or hypotension or a bunch of other different things, hypothermia. So yeah, so I can't imagine if you gave a dose big enough to a human, what that might do to them if you didn't have, oxygen or something. Yeah, I mean, you could, and then you could just leave them. They'd suffocate. They'd probably suffocate themselves because they need supplemental oxygen. So they'd probably die from, suffocation or hypoxia. It sounds, if that is what happened to her, which it's sounding like from the autopsy it is, what an awful way to go. What an awful way to go. I don't know how much you'd know because it says in that article in the medical journal that the animals were like that. They were just gone out. So I don't know how much you would have known. Depends by dosage, I guess. Nonalana says, man, the prosecution has to get it right. There's a lot here. Antlers fall off by themselves. Not if you take them, like Barry. You got to like fight the animal for it when you tranquilize it. That's part of the fun. All right, I'm joking. Deers are 200 to 400 pounds. Well, a Reese's Marquee is not that big, right? A Reese's Marquee is probably like, I don't know. How big is a Reese's Marquee? Because it has the doses here, like 27.3 milligrams per mil, 10.9, of the dose, 2 doses of BAM. Okay, how big is one of these animals? So, a Reese's Marquee is, wait. So a male in those monkeys is about 7.7 kilos and a female is about 5 kilos. So you're looking at about 10%, 8% of a adult female, something like that. So I don't know. Sometimes these drugs don't stack. So if you say that there's a dosage for a small animal like that, some things don't stack. Like, so if you gave the animal 2 mil or whatever, and you're like, well, that's 5% of a human, you can't just go, and quadruple that by, 80% or whatever, and be like, that's the dose for a human, because sometimes it doesn't work like that. It depends on body mass and kilograms. Like when you go into hospital and you have to go under, they have to weigh you. They want to know how tall you are. They want to know, a few other things like do you have any heart issues or whatever. So they use that to base on their calculations for your dosage. So this might be something similar, but interesting. Interesting. I don't know how many of you found that interesting, but I did. You can buy it as a premix solution for deer called, is it called BAM? Let's have a look. All right. Next Gen Pharmaceuticals. I like to go there and get my Next Gen Pharmaceuticals. They're my number one supplier. Let's see, BAM Deer Tranquilizer. So this looks like the company who makes it, but where do you buy it? A BAM kit. The dosage form available for BAM is kit. Wedgwood Pharmacy's stringent quality control programs help ensure that our injection solutions meet the specifications and high standards of the pharmacy industry. Strength, 1 strength combination of BAM kit is available. 25 milligram, 9.1 milligram. The antagonist, naltrexone. Naltrexone? Why do we know that? Naltrexone. It's another opioid thing. No, naltrexone, right? They use that for to reverse the effects of opioids, right? Or am I going crazy? It's used to manage opioid use disorder or dependence. I thought so. Thought that was interesting. So they include some of that in the kit available. I wonder if that is to help bring the animal back. It says, so you get all of the things in your BAM kit. Prescribed for deers. Yes, I often like to get me and my deer high. Me and my deer hang out, have a couple of beers, do a BAM kit or two, trade antlers. All right. All right. So you can buy it. I just don't know how much it costs or anything. So yeah, that is very interesting. Okay, focal. Wow, we can even get it in Australia. I had no idea. Bam. I know a lot of people in the US, this is probably not new information. Actually, here, there's a thing on it. Do you guys want to see? BAM deer immobilization process. Let's have a quick look. I won't play the audio. So here's a dude with a rifle or a trank gun maybe. Owner sales and services at Whitetail. Okay, Mr. Kevin Grace. 7:04 p.m. They shot the deer. Let's see how long it takes to take effect. The deer went down pretty quick. For more information on BAM, go to zoofarm.net. Oh, he's down. Is he asleep? Oh, he out. It's like 4 minutes. Under 4 minutes that he's dead to the world. Still breathing at least. He doesn't seem to need any supplemental oxygen so far. But he's out like a light. Oh, they put ice around his neck? I don't want to see that. No, we don't need to see needles. That's all right. So they just didn't show you injecting it. And then they kept him under for about 30 minutes. Now he wakes up. He's like, man, that was the best nap ever. Bro, what happened? Oh, I shouldn't have eaten that weird carrot. Oh man, what a hour. I feel really weird. Here, I'll eat some of this tree over here. There you go. There's a sort of process for the BAM and how quick it works. Synthetic opioid, yes. Yeah, gotta find it. If they could find a prescription or a receipt, that would definitely help. Marylander says Susan didn't weigh a lot, only between 110 to 115 pounds. So yeah, that's what I was saying. It's about 8 to 10% in kilos. 100. I'll do it at the lowest. 110, 110 pounds. Pounds equal kg. Yeah, so that's 49 kilos. So 49 to 59 kilos. The female rhesus monkey is 5 kilos. So yeah, about 10 to 8% of the is the marquee dose for the monkey. So yeah, my math is all right. I told you my math is okay. Let's not go there, the Thoris. I don't want to see people doing that. I think you would need a license in Australia to buy that chemical if you were a deer farmer or whatever. You'd have to go to a vet and get a prescription or something. You can just go to the store and buy it. You don't go down to your local trank store and be like, yes, I'd like a bunch of, tranquilizer, please. I'd like it in the extra large elephant sizing. I've got an extra large elephant to bring down. Nanalana says, the weather has been so dangerous again. I feel bad for all the tornado victims. I don't know if you guys heard. Did you guys hear a man died in the tornado and he was in his basement and he got crushed in his basement? And I feel so awful for him because that's the advice they always give you. You have to get below ground to survive, right? You must get below ground for a lot of EF3 or higher tornadoes because they'll sweep away your foundation. And he was under in the basement and he got crushed by his home and he died. Really, really sad. And a baby died in the Nebraska tornado, I think. A little baby died too. No, I don't think you can get it through Amazon. Amazon's good, but not that good. No, I don't wanna watch that. I have no interest in watching human suffering. You can buy it as a premix solution for beer. For not beer, deer. Similar, but not the same. You can't drink a deer. Alright. Yeah, I don't think there was much left. Judging by the top of that autopsy report, it was like skeletal remains and some clothing. There wasn't much left, and they identified her via dental records. There wasn't really much left of her. Although they did say they did a toxicology from the femoral bone. So they still were able to test from her. So that's how they got the toxicology report. So they were able to do such a thing. So it says here, opinion from the medical examiner based on the information provided to me at the time of this report. It is my opinion that Suzanne Morphew, a 52-year-old adult white female, died as a result of homicide by unspecified means in the settings of the chemicals, the BAM chemicals that we just spoke about. These drugs are marketed as a compounded injectable chemical immobilizer for wildlife, providing pharmacological, reversible analgesia, sedation, and immobilization. If more information becomes available, this report may be amended. Manner of death, homicide. And that's signed off by Leon Kelly, MD, Emily Russell Kinsley, MD, Alison Cooper, MD, Megan Cleanser, MD, and Jared Murdoch, DO. And that was on the 15th of the 4th, 2024. So that was about 2 weeks ago that was completed. And they had a bunch of people present at the autopsy from the Sheriff's Office, Colorado Bureau of Investigation, the CBI, the FBI, the local county sheriff's office where the body was found, the 12th Judicial District Attorney's Office, the Chaffee County coroner, Jeff Graff, was present during the post-mortem examination. A forensic odontologist for teeth, I guess, is present during the autopsy to examine and perform dental identification. The decedent is initially identified as Jane Doe, and then they identified her as Suzanne Morphew. The skeletal remains are submitted in 3 bags labeled Jane Doe R and 17. So it sounds like day 1 skull, day 2, and day 3. 3 bags contain multiple human and non-human bones and fragments, dirt, and wood fragment. The submitted human bones include the skull with mandible, sacrum, multiple ribs, bilateral radii, I can't pronounce half these things, the sternum, the manubrium, right scapula, clavicle, right and left femoral, right left tibia, fibula, multiple vertebrae. None of the bones bear any residual soft tissue. The right femoral head is retained for toxicology prior to release for forensic anthropology examination. There you go. That's what they found of Suzanne Morphew. That's all that was left. And in the other bag was 7 brown paper bags remaining in custody of the CBI contain a pale patterned balaclava, a pink and light colored leather work glove, a light color partial padded bra, a ripped dark blue gray hooded sweatshirt labeled Crested Butte, a torn green Nike tank top, Yeti shorts, a fabric fragment, a clothing and fabric fragment, all weathered and covered in dirt. All paper bags were labeled respective to their context. 6 envelopes remain in the custody of CBI, containing 5 fabric fragments and 1 weathered bullet, and are labeled as such. So there you go. That's what they found of her and what was left of her clothing. So they found a bra, a sweatshirt, a tank top, some shorts, and some fabric fragments, and a colored leather work glove, and a balaclava. It's odd, right? A work glove and a balaclava. What could she possibly, for working in the garden? Like, you don't want to get. I mean, it was during COVID, wasn't it? Maybe she used a balaclava as a mask? I don't know. I'm not sure what that's about. Maybe someone in the chat will know. Yeah, I don't want to watch that. I I know that's. I know you heard. I know you wrote this before I said it, but I did tell you the clothes. Hey, Vicky K, how are you, my friend? Marlon Clausen said, "Sad story. Just get a divorce." I think that relates back to what we always say on this show. Just walk away, everyone. Just walk away. Relationships break down all the time, right? Relationships disappear. They dissolve. Don't have to murder people. It's okay. It's okay. You will be okay. There are other people out there that you could date or whatever. There's other people out there that you can have a romantic relationship with. You don't need to have that one person if your relationship is no longer there. You just need to accept it, accept your new life, and move on. That's it. Don't need to hurt anyone. You just accept it. We've all broken up with people. We've all had relationships break down and they are sad, but you don't need to murder someone over it. I thought maybe for COVID, a lot of people wore balaclava type things, especially the ones around the neck that you pull up over your nose and mouth. Maybe it was for that. Or smoke. Was there a bushfire around? A lot of people wear them. I hope they refile, but I don't want them to rush it. I want them to get it right. So if it takes, you know, time, a year, 2 years more, I'd rather them get it right the first time than to go in and get a failed case or a hung jury, a mistrial, whatever. Just get it right. Get the victim, get justice for the family and her children, and do it right the first time, even though this is the second time, but after we found her. So Jenny says, "Yeah, I saw the autopsy for the case and went through it on another channel earlier tonight. It's so sad. It is very sad." Yeah, beer, not deer. Yeah. So I'm sorry I had to read that out. I know it's distressing for people to hear, but I'm glad we're one step closer to maybe, I don't know, having some sort of resolution for her. Hold on. Sorry, the reason I'm only doing part of it is Trisha's actually got Cheryl McCollum coming on tonight. So I don't want to do all of it because then I feel like a jerk that I'm stealing all her stories to do. So I tell you some important information about it and the rest she will tell you about. All right. All we can hope for is resolution. I will be very happy the day someone, wink wink, someone is in jail and convicted over the death of Suzanne Morphew. I'll be very happy. You know, whoever that person may be, could be anyone in the world, right? There could be, you know, I reckon, and look, it's just my guess, I'd be looking at Mary Poppins. I mean, you know, that woman, she flies in, she flies out, she's very sneaky. She's has that umbrella. She often flies. She's good with children. She can distract things. I'd be looking at her. I want to know about her history with deer tranquilizer. I'm sure she has one. We have to look up her records, but you know, I'd be looking at her. All right. On the subject of drugs, I want to talk to you about something. Um, Anyone in Galveston, Texas, have you misplaced your large block of cocaine? If you have, it washed up today in Galveston, Texas on Jamaica Beach. Your large block of narcotics were found on a beach today. So if that's your 50 grand worth of cocaine, it is now in the custody of the police, and you misplaced it badly. It says a large amounts of drugs were found on a Jamaica beach in Galveston Sunday morning. Galveston police say they noticed a suspicious package that floated up on the beach across from the JBRV park. The package contained a white substance believed to be narcotics. It says Galveston police asked residents not to touch anything like this that they see on the beaches. They then what? They call 409-737-1800 and report it. So yes, please report if this is your cocaine. Call into 1-800, what is it? 409-737-1800 and report if you've lost a brick of narcotics. They have found your lost property and are willing to return it to you. It helps the medicine go down. Yeah, someone will try claim it. I left me black brick on the beach. It's actually talcum powder. Yeah, it's not cocaine at all. It's actually talcum powder. I import talcum powder in this way because it's cheaper. It's cheaper than buying it from Johnson and Johnson, and I prefer to get my talcum powder from Bolivia. Bolivia have the best talcum powder ever, and I'd like to have my talcum powder returned to me, please. Someone will try. Galveston to Houston, yeah. The authority says, how stupid. I've also heard of people calling 911 because they had drugs ripped off from them. Not a lot of clever people in the world, apparently. Yeah, it did not go to Trisha's P.O. box, no. Johnson & Johnson are definitely shady. Have you seen what they've been doing with talcum powder? Importing it in bricks. All right, there you go. There's your funny moment for a minute. But it's happening in Australia too. Whenever we have a storm, it washes all the cocaine bricks up and they end up on all the beaches, like 20 of them. It's happened a bunch of times down here. I have shown you photos of it happening in Australia as well. All right. Okay. I want to talk to you. We talk a little bit about, on this channel about women's safety, right? Women's safety. And I want to talk to you about a trend that's happening on YouTube right now. I'm not going to give you the channel. I know the channel. I've reached out to the reporter on this that is reporting on this particular case, and I'm trying to get her to come on the channel and talk to me about this. But I'm going to talk to you about this, and I don't remember if I've actually brought it up before. I may have. Do you remember? Actually, no. Yes, I did. Do you remember a few weeks ago I brought you a story about two women who reported being filmed by a creep out in public in the UK? Do you guys remember that story? I talked to you about it. Well, there is a YouTube channel on YouTube that advertises the fact that they go out and film the Manchester nightlife. Now, I viewed these videos. I went and had a look at them. If you were a very naive person, you would be like, oh my God, what a great video of someone just walking around and filming what happens after 10 p.m. at night in Manchester at the nightclubs. If you look a little closer at it, it's a 1 hour video of someone walking around with a camera around their neck, filming women and filming their butts and their breasts and their, lady parts, and just following them around and filming all these women coming and going. And apparently, this particular channel had a Patreon account charging subscribers $13 or £13 per month for exclusive content that is 18 plus to view. And he advertised it with things like stuff I couldn't show on YouTube, all the best bits that couldn't be put onto YouTube, Manchester nightlife exclusive scenes with backshots, and Yeah, so the Manchester nightlife videos, which have seen women filmed while on nights out in Manchester city centre and posted on social media for views, the videos which appear to prey on intoxicated women have caused outrage online and seen the Greater Manchester Police urge affected women to come forward. The account was removed after Manchester Evening News approached Patreon for comment. A Patreon spokesperson said, the platform has zero tolerance for works featuring non-consensual intimate imagery. Now, I actually looked it up. The account has been removed from Patreon for the time being. But this is sort of what you see. This is some more of the tame sort of footage. But they sort of follow these scantily clad women around and not zoom in as such, but get closer. And they sort of, the positioning of the camera, I'm not sure if it's on a handheld tripod or whether he's got it around a lanyard or something like that. But it seems to always be on, their midsection. It always seems to focus there or on their butt. And yes, it says in the Patreon's biography, the owner wrote, what do I offer here? All my videos, early access in unedited, raw, and exclusive version. Everything I can't show on YouTube, I show here. 3 videos were uploaded in April 2024 showing over 15 minutes worth of footage of women being followed and their bodies being zoomed in on as they walk or sit down in Manchester's busiest nightlife district. All women appear to be unaware they are being filmed. Um, yeah, anytime a woman sort of, has her dress blow up or, her she bends over to grab something and, you know, her her breasts sort of pop out or whatever, he's there zooming in on it. And apparently a poor lady was wearing a top and her one of her breasts did pop out, unfortunately, and she caught it really quickly, but he got it all on video and was putting it online for people to watch. Now, I don't know about you, and I'm not a woman. I don't have any upper area stuff here, but I can't imagine how embarrassing that would be for to be a woman and then be like, "Oh my god, I hope no one saw that." Like, really super embarrassing, and then find out it's all over YouTube or Patreon. Says on April 9th, the user posted thanking users for subscribing, adding that they had received a warning from YouTube, so would be uploading content using Google Drive instead. At the time the account was taken down, it had garnered 30 paid subscribers and had shared over 28,000 YouTube. It had been 28,000 YouTube subs. It's a lot of people. Platform said the footage did not violate their community guidelines and refused to remove them. Greater Manchester Police told the Manchester Evening News they are assessing the Patreon account. We would encourage anyone who believes they have seen themselves in one of these videos to contact us, and if they can identify a rough location of where they may have been filmed, that will be additionally helpful so we can conduct the relevant inquiries into whether offences may have been committed. Last month, the Manchester Evening News joined GMP's Operation Custodian, which deals with policing the night economy, for a night following our extensive recent reporting on these videos. So this is sort of what his Patreon looked like before it was taken down. Exclusive version of my most viewed video, UK nightlife, exclusive scenes, Manchester nightlife, exclusive scenes with backshots. And yeah, so this has been going on for a while. And it's almost like voyeurism. It's almost like voyeurism, and these women don't even know about it. Marlon Clausen says, "Bet YouTube has no problem with it. His channel is still up as of this time. Unfortunately, I won't name the channel until mainstream media do. I don't feel comfortable because I'll probably have like 28,000 or more angry people coming after me. But I'm just reporting it the same as the media is." Still on drugs if you're sharing a picture. Yeah. Jenny says there was a guy in the US that got caught by a bystander. Yeah, we showed that video a couple of weeks ago. He put a camera under her butt, and a lady further down the aisle caught him. Marilyn says, so perverted. It is a little bit. Yeah, their friend found the footage. That was the other 2 girls, right. Yeah, voyeurism. Yeah, it's very sad. So, if you're a young woman out there and you're in the UK, you go out for a nice night out, just be cautious. Just be cautious and understand that there are cameras everywhere. Um, some people don't have a problem with this and say, well, you're out in public and public is a public space and recording in public is not a crime. And unfortunately, it is not. But I know that some of the laws are changing in regards to filming people's intimate areas or actions in a public setting. They're trying to change these type of laws to avoid this type of activity. I will bring you more. I am trying to get one of the reporters who is working on this story to come and talk to us on a live show. I reached out to her last night and I'm waiting to hear back. I won't give her name out, but I'm hoping that she'll get back to me. So if you're out there and you're listening and maybe you're like, who is this idiot who is emailing me asking me to come on his live show? Hi, it's me. Come on here and talk to us about the story you are covering. I think a lot of people would like to know about it. It's called Barbecue Lady. Marylander says a lot of creeps out there. There are a lot of creeps out there. That is true. Anyway, I like to bring you these type of stories, especially for our woman audience and men. But let's get here. All right, I got like 50 stories I could do today. I got so many actually. This happened yesterday in New South Wales in Australia. Bollaroo stabbing teenage girl accused of murdering her younger sister in Lake Macquarie region. Teenage girl 17 charged with murder. Her younger sister was found with stab wounds. A teenage girl has been charged with murder and remanded in custody after her young sister was allegedly stabbed to death. The 17-year-old was arrested after her sister 10 was found with stab wounds on Thurston Street at Bollaroo in New South Wales Lake Macquarie region at 3:45 p.m. on Monday. The 10-year-old girl was treated by paramedics before she died at the scene. Her older sister was then escorted by officers to Belmont Police Station, and the murder charge was heard at Broadmeadow Children's Court on Tuesday morning. Here's forensic at the scene of the the stabbing. Looks like any other kind of, estate home, right? Very nice area. She was charged with murder DV and made no application for bail. Neither she nor her family were present in court for the case. The 10-year-old girl's death has rocked the close-knit neighborhood. Neighbors on the quiet suburban street were horrified by the murder charge on Tuesday morning. Residents largely comprised of retirees and young families, while others were people with special needs living in facilities on the street. The home was on a new development of detached bungalow properties that are largely owner-occupied and nestled in the hills. The quiet estate is normally the scene of people walking their dogs and kids playing, but on Tuesday it was still sealed off by the police as forensic experts swarmed over the scene. Um, One woman said she thought the home where the alleged murder took place was a rental because the garden was the only one that wasn't maintained. My daughter is the same age and she's freaking out that someone will stab her too. She's very shaken by it. You just don't think something like this will happen on your street. She described the street as quiet and said no one knew much about the family involved. You can see the police talking to people here. One woman, Rosemary, trembled as she told the Daily Mail Australia she didn't think there were any children living at the property. There was an older woman and a younger one, maybe aged 30 or something, living there, but I didn't see any children. The younger one drove one of the cars and would say hi to outside, but that's all. Miss Forston said another neighbour had seen the girls at the property during the Christmas period, but they hadn't been seen at the property since. She says, I'm shaking. It's horrible. Another neighbour said the woman had lost everything. She's lost her family. It's a tragedy. Others who were at the home at the time of the alleged incident said they didn't hear any noise coming from the street at all. We thought there was a lot of sirens nearby, but they turned them off when they were coming into the street because there's no traffic. Yeah, they often turn them off to not upset neighbors. But then they knocked on our door, and that's when we found out it was on our street. The crime scene was still in place on Tuesday morning as police continued their investigations. Photos from the scene showed shocked locals gathering outside the crime scene. A number of police vehicles remained parked on the street as detectives were seen coming and going from the home on Monday evening. Another stabbing death in New South Wales. They've had a few. Couple were high profile. We know about that. They've been all in the media. But what an awful thing. A 17-year-old stabbed her 10-year-old sister. That is a awful crime. 17. I don't know what could have caused it. Hold on. Let me try and get you more information about it. 17-year-old arrested. All right. New details emerge, apparently. More details have come to light after the 10-year-old girl was allegedly murdered at home by her 17-year-old sister. All right, hold on, guys. Give me 1 second. I have to fix this before we get going. Hold on. Yeah, but they do that here. They tend to turn them off. All right. Let's see. What is the new details? Apparently, the police superintendent Tracy Chapman said there was no records of police being involved with the family previously for matters such as this. What does that mean? Does that mean you have been with the family previously, but just not for a child stabbing another child? That's a very police answer. Neighbor Cindy Holloway described the incident as awful and explained a grandmother, mother, and 2 daughters lived at the home for 3 years. She said the street was very quiet with lots of renters and older residents. That's it. There is no. What was the new information? That paramedics treated a 10-year-old girl for stab wounds to her upper body. However, she died at the scene. That's it. That's all we know. And her 17-year-old sister was arrested for a DV murder. Awful. Really is. But that is a developing story out of Australia. Oh, they've done an update again. Hold on. A teenager accused of murdering her little sister allegedly attacked her younger sibling completely out of the blue, police say. The 17-year-old was arrested after her sister, 10, was found with stab wounds at New South Wales Lake Macquarie region at 3:45 p.m. on Monday. The 10-year-old girl was treated by paramedics before she died at the scene. Her older sister was escorted by officers to Belmont Police Station and charged with murder. She's charged with murder/DV and made no application for bail. Homicide Squad Detective Superintendent Danny Doherty said police will allege the attack was random. He said there's no indications from what information we have at the moment to indicate why this has allegedly occurred. It's very hard to imagine. It's unthinkable that this could happen to a 10-year-old. Yeah, very much so. Let's see if I can find the press conference. ABC. That looks like it came from ABC News. Let's see. I don't see him on here. Interesting. No Mr. Doherty on the replay. Hold on. No, authorities seek about... Nope. Alright. Let me see if I can find it on here. No, if they did do a press conference, I can't find it at the time. They're just saying they expect more information at a later date. So that's it. Passengers stranded. No, we don't want passengers stranded. This is interesting though. Talking about DV, they're saying that data shows rise in number of women killed by current or former partners in Australia, apparently. I'll show you.
Disturbing statistic that we have from...
Hold on. We'll go back to that.
Happening now, a press conference at Lake Macquarie in New South Wales. Police are speaking after a 17-year-old girl was charged with the murder of a 10-year-old girl.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Tracy Chapman. I'm the commander of the Lake Macquarie Police District. With me is Detective Superintendent Doherty from Homicide Squad at State Crime Command. Firstly, thank you for coming this morning. This is clearly a tragic set of circumstances, and our thoughts go out to the families and also the broader community who will be impacted by this. At approximately 3:45 p.m. yesterday, the 29th of April, emergency services were called to an address in Thurston Street at Bullaroo. Upon arrival, police located a 10-year-old female with multiple stab wounds. Despite the efforts of police and paramedics, tragically, that young girl, a 10-year-old, passed away at the scene. Officers from Lake Macquarie Police District arrested a 17-year-old female at the scene, and she was later brought to Belmont Police Station. Strike Force Upstream has been formed, and this is a strike force with Lake Macquarie detectives and Homicide Squad, and assisted by other police from police districts in the area. A crime scene has been established. That crime scene remains current and is currently being examined by forensic police. In the early hours of this morning, the 17-year-old that was arrested at the scene was charged, and I'll hand over to Detective Superintendent Doherty to detail that charge.
Okay, thanks, Superintendent Chapman. Detective Superintendent Danny Doherty, Commander Homicide Squad, State Crime Command. As Superintendent Chapman's just announced, the 17-year-old was charged with murder, facing court this morning. She was obviously bail refused last night and facing court this morning. The facts will show, will allege that the 17-year-old girl was the one responsible for stabbing to death a 10-year-old girl at the house of Bullaroo. It's a tragic circumstance. It's hard to imagine. The circumstances are still being investigated. It's a very sensitive investigation, as you can imagine. There's a family at home who are still grieving, trying to come to terms with what happened to their 10-year-old family member and their loved one. So it's important to note the sensitivity around this, but our thoughts are with the family. Their support services will be provided to them. Homicide victim support groups been notified to help support them as well. But 17-year-old is before the court at the moment. The circumstances will come out through the investigation, but we will allege that she was solely responsible for the death of the 10-year-old. So I'll pass it back to you.
Danny Doherty speaking there from Lake Macquarie about the death of a 10-year-old girl allegedly stabbed to death yesterday afternoon by a 17-year-old at a home in Lake Macquarie. The circumstances surrounding that, as you heard, still under investigation. There are so many sensitivities.
There you go. There's your update. Nanalana says it's raining here in Middle Tennessee. It was just raining here too. I had to go close a window while you guys were watching that. Nalana says, "Oh, 10 years old, and now the 17-year-old's life will never be the same." Yeah, I don't know what goes on there. The youngest age, it used to be like 10, but I know they're trying to raise it. Minimum age of culpability. New South Wales, it's different. So New South Wales is 10 years old. This child should be able to be charged. Well, she was charged with murder, DV. So there you go. In New South Wales, it's 10. I know in Victoria, the Victoria will be the first state to raise the minimum age of criminal responsibility from 10 to 12 and to 14 by 2027. So in Victoria, they're trying to raise it to 14 from 10. It used to be 10 down here. And I think it might be 12 now, and then in a few more years, it'll be 14. So there you go. So it's 10. She's 17. It's fine. She'll be charged with, murder. You guys, yeah, so you guys can also have people charged as adults as well, can have their case moved to an adult court. I don't know if we've ever done that here. I don't know if I've ever heard of that happening down here. I think it's just you're charged with the crime, and if you're under a certain age, it's this. If you're over a certain age, it's that. All right, give me 1 second. I want to show something. Every now and then I need to do a little bit of this type of stuff, even though I try to jam pack as much true crime into the show as I can. We're getting to the end of the month, and we'll have a new video and a new ending thing at the start of next month. So I want to put this on the screen. I want to thank all these people for supporting the channel in the month of April. Thank you very much to all the people with your name on this list. You are all amazing. I very much appreciate it. And from tomorrow or the day after, we'll have a brand new video with brand new names for the month of May. So yeah, just know that everyone on this list, Sienna, Kathy Lynch, Sean A, Vicky K, Laura T, Julie K, Potter, Kim F, Juniper, Peekaboo, Danny, Marjorie, Lindy, Laura A, Catatonic, Julie K. I put Julie K twice on here. Sorry, Julie. Nancy S. Joe. Hey, Joe. I haven't seen you for a little while. Hope you're doing okay. Moonshadow, Moonlight View, Reby, and Heather B. and Betty C. Thank you to all of you for helping make the channel happen each month. I really do appreciate it. It's very, very kind of you. And to all the people who like and subscribe and leave a comment or share the channel with a friend, I appreciate you guys as well. I really do. Those people help each and every day in their own way. It is, they try and do something for the channel, and I do appreciate it. And yeah, helps us get a little bit larger, help us get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. Because I can't wait to do memberships for you all. That'll be fun. And I've actually got the little icons already made, and they're all different colors for different time periods. So I can't wait to show you what the actual icon is. It'll be great. All right. I think we're about to wind down, but we'll be back. Hey, don't despair. We're going to be back in about an hour and a half, 2 hours or so. The late show will be on. So if you're on the Pacific coast and or in between, a lot of our East Coast people unfortunately can't do the late show because it's past midnight by the time it comes on, but they do watch it in the morning. If you want to come hang out again after Trish, there'll be the late show, which goes for about an hour or so after Trish, and we do more true crime. We have more stories, including one we didn't get to, which is Midtown Jane Doe. I cannot wait to talk to you about that. What a crazy story, and I've been researching it all day, but it really needs about 40 minutes of its own time. So come back after Trish. We're going to do the Midtown Jane Doe story in the Late Late Show tonight. Really, really interesting how they figured that out, and they still don't know who murdered her, but where she was found and how she was found offers up some clues, and there's only certain people that could have got to that area, and I'll explain why when we come back for the Late Late Show. What's wrong with Moonlight View? She was here before. What's wrong with her? I remember what happened. Did she say something? And she's okay, I think. She's all right. Emily Narb, I really appreciate you dropping by. It means a lot. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you. And yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back for the late show, an hour and a half or so. Okay. So hey, go watch Trish. She's got Cheryl McCollum on. She'll explain more of that Suzanne Morphew document, and Cheryl McCollum knows everything. So you want to know about Suzanne Morphew? Go listen to Cheryl. She'll tell you everything. She's amazing. So no, she was around. She's probably just it's dinner time for Moonlight Views, so she's probably eating dinner. It's like dinner time for her, so she probably had to duck off, eat something, and then she has to run back and do Trisha's show. So it's all good. She was here earlier. All right, guys. Hey, love you all. I'm glad we got to jam pack as many stories in tonight as we did. And come back for the late show. We'll have much more for you then. Hey, thanks to everyone. Peace out. I'll see you in a little while.